its own character.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for being here. If you don't know Mushy Croutons, if you want to say a name for yourself, please do. If not, we'll call you Mushy Croutons. Um, this is he's a wonderful asset to this community, and we're gonna hear his story today. So, if you haven't followed Mush, please give him a follow. So, Mush, we'll start out like this. Tell us the medication you're on, the dose you're on, how much you've lost, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so my name is Éamonn. I'm on Monjoro now at this point, 5 milligrams at this point, and I lost 97.5 pounds so far since January 3rd.
Oh my God, everybody, please. That is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's go back a little bit. You may have a little different experience than a lot of people here, which I love. So when is the first time you were affected that you could tell by this disease? A little backstory on you would be awesome.
Okay, so I don't actually start gaining any weight until I leave New York City about a decade ago.
Yeah.
So the way I read that is when I lived in New York, you're walking everywhere. Even when you're taking the trains, you're up and down steps, you're running around the city, down side blocks, up Avenue. Like you're just walking everywhere. Portions are normal, more normal in restaurants. Food tends to be a little bit healthier in decent, nice restaurants and so on. And probably there may have been a little thing of graduate school being a little poor and not eating a whole lot as well, and living on coffee. That could have probably helped as well.
Mm-hmm.
So moving from New York to a place where I drive everywhere, where portions are a lot bit bigger, food is unhealthier. I'm in Pennsylvania, so lots of cheesesteaks, a lot of Pennsylvania Dutch stuff. Yeah, so that kind of changed, right? Like the whole and just literally driving everywhere, just not living in places that are walkable at all. They're not even built to be walkable.
Right.
They're built literally for cars. So that kind of thing changes, looking back on it, like energy expenditure. Underneath of that, there was like biological stuff going on as well, right? Like physiological stuff. And so I have some genetic dispositions to some liver problems from my father's side, and some cardiovascular stuff from my mother's side.
Yeah. Do you mind talking about that a little bit, about your parents and that whole, thing? It's kind of
Yeah,
fun. Yeah.
that thing. Well, so over the years, like I would have this thing where my lipids would go up, my cholesterol numbers would go up, and I'd like bat them back down, and just be careful. And actually, I learned something some years ago that if I cut too much cholesterol out of my diet, my body starts producing a lot of cholesterol, and that should have been one of the original hints that there was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But that also happens for a lot of people. But that should have been something to have been investigated, but it wasn't. So I carefully just tried to, every time it would go up, I tried to like beat it back down. When I got to Pennsylvania, though, too, a second thing emerged, and that was my glucose levels started going up, and my A1C was like inching up over time. So about 2-3 years ago, they started to tell me, "Oh, you're pre-diabetic now." So I thought pre-diabetic meant like you're getting close to diabetes. I didn't know that there were actually things going on during the period of being pre-diabetic.
Isn't that the case? Isn't
Yeah.
that the case when we hear, oh, I'm pre-diabetic? Okay, cool. I'm not quite there yet. So let's just keep, living life. It's like, no, hello.
Yeah.
They don't educate you on pre-diabetes.
Right, because while you're pre-diabetic, your beta cells on your pancreas are dying in large numbers. And when they die, they don't come back, like they're dying.
Yeah.
So if I would have known that, that would have been a wake-up call too, right?
So quickly, I hate to interrupt you, but you said 3 years ago. So this wasn't yet where you had gotten heavier, correct?
Well, I did. Like when I moved to Pennsylvania, I started gaining weight. I went up like quite a bit. Not like just it was like gradually like moving up. And then right before it was 2019 that I said to my doctor in my old town, I was like, yeah, I want to go to like weight management or something. And she's like, oh, you can do medically monitored weight loss. So I went and they said, oh, hey, let's do keto. Keto was like all the rage.
Yeah.
I had a cutting edge doctor from Connecticut and New York that was all into it. it worked. It totally worked. And I lost like a whole bunch of weight, and yeah, and
And
so it was
then,
great.
and then what?
Um, then COVID came, and then it was like, okay, now I'm going to walk even less because I'm going to telework all the time.
Yeah.
And the obligations that some of my closest friends were starting to have to take care of their elderly parents meant that like I wasn't going to see them that much. I wasn't traveling out of town. I wasn't hanging out. So I started becoming like really sedentary, and then just almost like a hermit, like not going and watching lots of television. I mean, in a way, it was great. I got to hang out with my dog in like a really comfortable, nice little den with a big TV, watching
Yeah.
stuff. 5 o'clock came, work is over, click, and then turn around, click, and then just went screen to screen, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not like really exercise, and I started to get this like mental attitude, like, well, you're getting older, men get thicker when they're older, like that's just the way it goes, and um, so then I started gaining weight like during COVID, but in the past year and a half, I had to move again for work, and I was kind of like in this like depression funk that I didn't even realize was going on, like a low grade kind of thing. And when I moved to where I live now, I wound up my weight exploded. I gained like 100, maybe 110 pounds, like in a year and a half. And I was weight blind. I didn't realize like I had that whole thing with body dysmorphia the opposite way.
Yes.
I was like, I'm not that big. What are you talking about? Like, what? Until I had to go to an urgent care center. And when I was there, the irony of this, I was there for an eye issue. Um, and they were like, oh, step on this scale. But they walked me by the normal scale to like a more like in body
You're
kind of
like,
scale, like bigger. And I was like, what's wrong with that? Like, and then they like read the number and I was like, wait, what? Wait, no, no, no. So I think it was the effect of like someone reading a number to another person to write down. And it's like, yo, you can't get it. Like your brain can't escape this. Like you
right.
can't like ignore this. So
What
then I
was the
was like
number?
440, I think. 440, yeah.
And your
So
and your brain thought you were where? Like, what were you thinking?
340, maybe 340.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And 340,
So
it's fine. I'm older. I'm in my 50s. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. People get a little thicker.
Yeah.
There's also the whole thing too of like when you're not seeing your friends and your social networks and all, they usually become like a mirror, right? Like so you're not like sitting next to someone in a restaurant or sitting at like you're like you don't realize like you're getting bigger, bigger, bigger. But if you're sitting next to people, like you're just subconsciously sizing yourself up and stuff. So like not seeing people that I would I mean I would see other people at stores, my neighbors and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was kind of weird. So I was like, wait a minute, I gotta do like this is bad. This is really bad. So I went to the doctor. We tried to get me on Zepbound. Insurance said no, 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 we don't cover for weight loss. My A1C was a 6.4, so not a 6.5 yet. Right, but
Right.
6.4 Zepbound, no Zepbound for you. So then I was like getting really impatient and annoyed and angry about it. So I was like, I'm just going to buy compounded tirzepatide online. And I ordered 6 months worth and I started on January 3rd. And then 3 weeks later from my health program through my employer, they sent out some blood work forms. They're like, oh, go get this blood work. And included on there was an A1C. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go. I'm 3 weeks on tirzepatide, but
Yeah.
like, let's see what the number is anyway. And I went and it came back 6.7. Sent that to my doctor. She put the prescription in for Manjaro. Didn't even need a prior authorization. How weird is this? Just in the matter of a couple months.
Yay
No
for
Zepbound, no Zepbound.
diabetes. Oh,
Now you're diabetic. Oh, now you can get
yeah.
Manjaro. There you go. Um, so that's when I was able to switch over to Manjaro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's interesting when you were talking about how you just don't realize how big you are and stuff. Like, also just being home and sedentary, like, you're not having to like function in your day-to-day life like you would if you were out and about to realize this is uncomfortable, this isn't good. Like, how you were saying, like, we just don't realize it ourselves. Like, if you were to do more, yes, with your friends and seeing that difference with your friends, but like, if you were to just be out in the world, it would probably have maybe, you would have noticed a little bit here and there just because it was harder to do the daily things. But when you're at home, chilling on the couch, it's easy.
Yeah, like even I can use like like there's different barometers looking back on it now where it's like again it was like a lot of it was subconscious, but it's like I wasn't taking the dog out so much anymore, but I was spending time with the dog like, oh, we'll do training, we'll play games, right? We'll like he likes nose work, right? So I lock him in the bathroom, I put treats through the whole place, and then I let him out. He goes running around looking for all the treats. He could sniff for 2 hours that way because I sometimes don't tell him that he got all of them, and then he's busy, right? Because
Yeah.
he's still looking, but I already know he got all five of them.
Yeah.
And then he sniffs so much that he goes to sleep. But anyway, it was like I'm not taking him to dog parks. I'm not taking him to trails. I'm not taking him to lakes like I used to do, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm still spending the time with him, so I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm not my relationship with this dog has changed. We're
Mhm.
still spending a lot of time together. We're just not doing what we used to do.
Mhm.
Side note, he just went to the vet and he has gained a pound. So we have to start taking him on more walks too. He's got to start going with me.
Yeah, he's
Um,
eating your bear bells, I think.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's not far from the truth because when he, for the first time in 9 years, he broke into a trash bag the other day, and what he pulled out was the bear bag wrappers because they had some of the stuff on it.
Told you.
He was licking them out. Yeah. Bear
So
bells. If you need a dog to in your advertisement, hit me up.
So go back to your family dynamic. Like with, you were talking about your parents had specific things that, for you. Like, tell me about that a little bit.
Okay, so my birth father's family has bad livers. So his brother had a liver transplant. Other people had like fatty liver disease, this and that. So he wound up getting liver cancer and dying during. He died from that, metastasized
Mm.
during COVID. So bad livers from that side. On my birth mother's side, it was heart. So her mother died like a year before I was born, and she of cardiac arrest, but it was brought on by respiratory stuff. But her father died like 6 months after I was born, and that was like a massive heart attack.
Mm.
And so I didn't know the extent of the heart stuff in that family though until when I get to January 3rd, I take the first shot of tirzepatide, and then I start thinking like, okay, this isn't just about losing weight, right? This is like a whole kind of health project that's going to go on. So when I get to March, I spend January and February like focused on tirzepatide, weight loss, all that kind of stuff. I studied a man that some people know on here. His name is Jamie Selzler. I watched all his long form videos, got his like 4 principles down, his 4 rules. Really started to try to think through that lens. But when it got to March, I did a very, very big blood draw through a third party thing called Function Health online, and they took like 120 markers from the get go. I had already asked my doctor, and she already put an order for it. I had already asked my doctor to put in a test for something called lipoprotein little a, LP little a, and I hadn't used her order yet, but it was in the function draw. So when the function draw came back, it was great because here I was at 6.7, technically diabetic in January, towards the end of January. So March 21st, 2 months later, I was what is it? I just at the normal level for my A1C. So these numbers start coming back, and it's like, wow, the A1C is back. Oh, okay, the insulin's still raging in the background from fasting insulin numbers and so on.
Mhm.
And then like I was like, okay, that's good, but everything's falling, everything's moving in the right direction. It's only 2 months, right? This is great. This is great. Like this is all doable. And then the LP little a number came back. So first of all, the lipids were elevated again. The LP little a comes back, and it was a 576, which puts
Can
me in
you,
the top. Yeah, puts me in the top 1% of risk category for cardiovascular
in
events or
layman's
death.
terms,
Yeah.
explain LP little a, how this affects everything?
LP little a is a very sticky particle. It's a cholesterol particle. It's very sticky. It is genetic driven. You can't diet or exercise yourself away from it. It's very sticky. It's in the cards. 1 in 5 people in the U.S. Well, they think worldwide. 1 in 5 people have elevated LP little a. So if it's over 75, it's like to 75 to 100, it's like slightly elevated. But mine came in at 576, which is like off the charts on the top, right? So I was like, oh, this is sort of like a problem. It's a problem because it's a little particle, it's really sticky, and then when it's traveling around on your other cholesterol particles, like your LDL or some other stuff, you have to, it burrows itself into, usually your small particles, it burrows itself into the walls of your arteries, and then it creates atherosclerosis, and then eventually the plaquing up of your arteries. And LP little a has preferences for where it likes to go. It likes certain arteries. It likes to destroy certain valves. It likes to do various things. It also has a thrombotic side in the sense that like you can wind up having clots much easier. So your risk for heart attack and strokes goes way up.
What's the name of the test again, Mush?
LP little a, or
Okay.
lipoprotein little a, and they usually write it capital L, small p, and then a little a in parentheses.
Right.
And you want to make sure you get that right if you're going to ask for it, because there is something else that looks like it that clinicians have been willing to order the test for people because more and more people are hearing about it since it was just added to the guidelines for cardiologists and lipidologists in March. So more people are hearing about it, but they're on the requisition form for the blood orders. It's getting a little confusing. So
Right.
a lot of people are doing the wrong one. So that came back, and I was like, oh, this is great. So like I was already seeing like, oh, this insulin resistance, this diabetic side, like that's, I make a joke like I was diabetic for a couple months. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, when you're diabetic, you're already diabetic. And to go
Yeah.
back to the beta cells, once you reach a diabetic diagnosis, like 30-40% of your beta cells on your pancreas are already dead, right? Like they're already gone. So I was like, all right, cool. This is like, I'm tackling this. Then I was like, wait, what do I do about this? And diet and exercise doesn't do anything, right? So it's like, what? So then I had to jump into that and start to figure out, well, how do they treat this? What happens here? As soon as I mentioned it to my primary care, she's like, you're going for a calcium heart scan, you're going to get a carotid artery scan, you're going to get a peripheral artery scan, you're going to get abdominal aneurysm, or
Yep.
I forget. Anyway, you do all the scans, you go, they check everything. So my scans like pretty much came out okay, except for the heart one, and they were like, okay, you have calcification at your widowmaker valve. So here you go, 335. So it's not in the highest category, but it's not in the lower categories either. It's in like the high risk, not the extremely high risk. So I was like, okay, this is a problem. And interestingly, LP little a is so pernicious and disgusting that it's nowhere else. Nowhere else. It's literally just collecting at that artery. It's like, we like this artery.
Yeah.
We're gonna destroy this artery. Yeah. So I was like, okay, what do I do about this now? So then it jumped now, like along with tirzepatide, I'm on another very strong regimen over on the lipid side, and that is like rosuvastatin topped out, and then a medication called ezetimibe that keeps you from absorbing cholesterol in your intestines, and then on top of that, a monoclonal antibody. So I do a shot, Repatha, every 2 weeks, just like the Mounjaro shot, sub-Q, in the pens. Interestingly, the pharmacies don't harass you as much about Repatha as they do with Mounjaro and the rest. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Never a problem. Never a problem. Yeah.
I love that you're talking about this, right? Because this is a side that we don't really talk about here because it's not weight related, but it's so important, all of these other factors. So, just explain to people like, in a way to not overwhelm them about how important it is to do these kind of things. I don't know. Just give us some of your advice and expertise when it comes to this kind of thing.
Well, the thing that I came to realize like very quickly in the background, like I'm already a sociologist, right? So I tend to think in terms of systems anyway, like how do various systems interact? How do they overlay each other? How do they reproduce each other, reinforce each other, and so on? So now what I've come very quickly to realize is like, I'm not just like a Zepbound patient where it's like weight loss and the disease of obesity, right? Or the diseases of obesity. My thing is like this whole cardio metabolic kind of cluster, right? So I think in the beginning I was like, oh, the diabetes stuff is taken care of, but now I have this heart stuff, and very quickly I started to realize, no, it's actually one system. In high school, like we're taught like, we're going to do this organ this day, we're going to cover this organ. And we think of them as being discrete, but they're all kind of overlapping, right? So there's this whole thing that goes with glucose, insulin, triglycerides, the rest of your lipids, your liver, your heart health, your arteries, then your heart health, right? It's all actually linked, right? So I think that's one of the important things that people think about too, like when they're just dealing with the disease of obesity, is that eventually the disease of obesity is going to turn into these other things, right? And in fact, what for me happens is it was the reverse, right? Like I have this like insulin resistance driven weight gain, complicated by like a messed up liver that's making weird lipid, extra cholesterol and so on. So I think it's important to think of it like kind of like as a whole health project, or people say journey, weight loss journey, but I think of it in terms of a health project where it's like, no, I got to keep, like, I don't just look at my sugar numbers and then like look at my lipid numbers. They're all on one page together. I want to see how these things are moving over time together. So that's one of the things that I think is important to think about them as kind of systems.
Yeah, a health project. What a great idea. What a great concept. And it's truly that's the case, right? And it just shows you, it's like, I get it. Superficially, yeah, we want to look good. Okay. But in reality, guys, we want to live long.
Right.
Right?
And that's one of the things that I came to realize was like, and my cardiologist really kind of stuck it to me. He was like, I mean, he put it in the best line possible. He's like, because I said, well, what sense does it make to do all these other things? Like if LP little a is impervious to diet and exercise, he's like, your risk level is high. Let's be honest. You're going to have a stroke or a heart attack eventually. That's going to happen. Do you want that stroke or heart attack to happen in a body that's falling apart, that can't recover from it, maybe won't even live through it? He's like, or do you want that stroke or heart attack to happen in a body that the rest of it's like, hey, we're going to clean this up, we're going to heal quicker, right? This is like, we can take care of it. It's not going to be as devastating, right? He's like, that's the question that you're at now. He's like, it's not a question like, oh, am I just going to die next week, next month, or whatever. He's like, it's not that. It's like, what kind of biological environment do you want this event to take place in? And that's like it's like a difficult thing to be told, but it's like,
it's
no,
reality.
This is real. Yeah, it's
reality.
Like, this is very real. And it also makes you think, it's like, I do hear people talk about like the weight loss thing. It's like, oh, I got my years back, I feel younger and stuff. It's like, like that's nice and all, but like, let's all keep in mind we're all getting older. So eventually it's coming.
I mean, we're all going to go, right? So how do we want to do it? We want to do it the best way we can. The easiest way.
Right. And like I joked with the cardiologist, I was like, oh, so you're basically saying, do you want to be a person that dies on your 5th heart attack instead of your 1st? He's like, exactly. He said, because if you let the arteries go, if your endothelial health goes apart, it becomes difficult for us to put stents in. We can't put them in. He's like, the arteries are falling. He's like, you want everything to be in the best possible condition, so when something happens, we can do all the help that we can do. And I was like, okay, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people that are feeling overwhelmed, because I'm sure there's people in here that are just like, whew, what am I going to do? What advice would you give, like the first step to look into this so they don't feel like overwhelmed where they're just like, screw it, I'm not going to do anything because this seems like a lot?
First step for like just obesity or just everything?
Sorry, I meant like, if they're going to look into something like this, like look into the blood work or whatever.
Yeah, it's data. It's just data. It comes back as data. There's markers. I mean, if you're gonna, the more you're gonna look, the more you're gonna find, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to actually find the stuff early on. I don't know if she's still here, but Anne-Marie in the chat, she calmed me down immensely after the LP(a) number came back, because she kept pointing out to me, most people find out that they have a high LPA after an event, and beforehand. So they treat me like the way I get treated by cardiologists and so on is as if I've had a massive heart attack already. They put me into secondary prevention. But it's weird when I follow like the heart attack folks on TikTok. It's like, oh, I mean, like I get treated in the same way as you guys, but your experience has been very different because you actually had an event. So my thing is like, you can't let it like overwhelm you. Like you just have to look at this stuff and say, okay, what are the things I start doing today, tomorrow, the next day? What kind of things do I introduce over time, right? What kind of, and we have like some immense, powerful software now that it's extremely helpful. You can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I have fatty liver disease. I have a CAC score of this. I got my LP little a, or I got my lipids, or here's my sugar number. Like you can put all your numbers in and then say like, I need help developing a big list of foods that I can pick from to design like my eating.
Yeah.
And it's extremely helpful because it'll say like, something may be good for you if you have diabetes, but it's like not good for you if you have like cardiovascular issues, right? So if you have diabetes, okay, get rid of the sugar. How do you make things tasty when you don't have sugar? You add fat to it. Well, you can't do the saturated fat. You can do other fats.
Yeah.
Right. So like ChatGPTs and Claude and the rest are extremely helpful. So you just sit down, have like these long conversations and just ask a million questions. And you'll get these printouts that are, I mean, you don't even have to print them out, but like these, responses where it's like, yeah, these are the foods you do. So now I'm at the point where like I make this like one thing in the crock pot, which is a bunch of vegetables, the better vegetables for me, and then like barley and lentils, like not huge amounts, right? But it's like, no, you're getting all the things in there that wipe out the other cholesterols that could cause a problem.
Yeah. So
So
just
that,
being proactive, right?
yeah.
And just, speaking up for yourself, advocating for yourself, asking for that test, the LP little a test, right? Start with that or
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah, I think it's so amazing. I love that you've done that. I mean, from the very beginning, guys, Éamonn has come into this community and just been gung ho and taking, it by the horns and just going for it. And we've learned so much through him. So I really appreciate him. There's someone asking in the chat, they've come in a little bit later, how much you've lost. Can you reiterate what that's been
Okay,
like?
so since January 3rd, I lost like 97.5 pounds since January 3rd. I'm a whatever. I'm a big responder to the tirzepatide.
Yeah.
Um, Also, probably it's been helpful is also it's forcing, the cardiovascular stuff has forced me to look at nutrition much more. So I am a little more restrictive than a lot of people, like because I have to be restricted for cardiovascular stuff.
Mhm.
No more potatoes, no more butter, no more cream. So that's very sad. But I also want to say to Lauren, it is sad that we have to turn to ChatGPT. But one of the things I've learned over the past couple months is that I think a lot of doctors just want to manage medications for people because people don't take charge of their own health. So doctors wish that people would be more involved in their own health. They can't do everything in 10, 15-minute, 20-minute appointments. And they can't do the deep research all the time because the amount of patients that insurance companies want them to see, right? So if you're doing a whole bunch of work ahead of time, they can correct that work. You can bring the results of that and talk about the results, and they can say, oh, no, actually you missed this. You also have to consider this. But I have learned last year when I was kind of like miserable, like my doctors were just like, okay, like, yeah, you have to lose some weight. Oh, like, watch your fat intake. Once I started going in with all this information, they were like, I have a partner now. Like
Yes.
they're excited about like
Yes.
tackling my health
Teamwork. It's
issues with
so
me.
important, guys.
Yeah.
We have to do our part too.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum. You don't have to go as crazy as mush, but why not? That's the thing. It's like you go into a doctor's appointment and you have some sort of give and take there. They could give you as much information in that 15 minutes that they can. Otherwise, you're going in there with nothing and they're just like, well, yeah, you got to do the basics, guys, right? Let's go in with some knowledge and some information. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not saying don't ask your various providers questions, but if you can ask all those questions to ChatGPT or Claude beforehand, you're going to have the original answers. So then you're going to have a new set of questions.
That's right.
And then you can ask them and because they're going to go, and you can tell ChatGPT and Claude, I only want you to search reputable medical sites and scientific journals. All right. And then what you say with that is, and talk to me like I'm in ninth grade,
Yeah.
because then it'll change the explanations. They won't be so crazy. But you wind up going further along so that when you eventually go in to see the doctor, you're like when I went to see my cardiologist after doing all those scans and doing all the research, I was like, I want ezetimibe and I want Repatha. And he's like, I'm already considering that. But he was like looking at me like, wow. And I also got myself into a clinical trial for an LP little a drug. There's drugs possibly in in the pipeline that will eventually take down LP little a. Same people, Amgen, Lilly, Eli Lilly, the rest of like same culprits about to put out, new life-changing, possibly life-changing medications.
And Lauren's bringing out a good point. Some doctors are complete a-holes, and you need to find a new doctor because Lauren's doctor is saying, "Oh, you think you know more than I do? Get over it, doctor. Get over it. Find a new doctor."
Yeah, and I think there's also the balance too. Like some people, like I see a bunch of people. It's really weird to watch too because I've been deep into the reading all this stuff. Is that there's people that deny that they say statins are bad for you. Don't take statins. You can have a 400 LDL. That's okay. Your body needs cholesterol to do A, B, and C. Your body will make as much cholesterol as it needs on its own. And the problem for people with dyslipidemia, with lipid problems, cholesterol problems, is their body will make too much, right? Because their receptors are messed up on their liver. In the same way the receptors are dysregulated for GLP-1s and GIP, the receptors on the liver are screwed up as well. So you need medication to manipulate that, to make sure that your body's making the proper amount of lipids.
Yeah.
She actually, Lauren has a medical background.
That's funny. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, my goodness, what is your big takeaway from what you've experienced and what you learned over this last 7 months specifically?
Well, I just did blood draw this weekend and it came back and all my lipid numbers are like in great condition. They're all the things I need to do. They match the American guidelines. Mm-hmm. I am shooting for the more aggressive guidelines that the Europeans give, but they're completely within sight now. Mm-hmm. So I'm at this point where it's like, okay, I have like a chart document, which I keep track of all my numbers. The next thing I'm looking to tackle is endothelial, arterial health, right? Inflammation. That's going to be the next piece. And strangely, that requires probably what I hate the most. One thing that I like the most, but it's kind of expensive. And one thing I hate the most. The expensive thing is like eating a lot of big salads, right? So that can get a little costly when you're buying like all that nice fresh food and stuff, right? And then on the other hand, I can't avoid, because of the hard stuff, I can't avoid aerobic exercise.
Let's listen to that in a minute. Finish your thought though.
Yeah, because it was nice. It was nice, like when I was working with Jamie Selzer, who was coaching me for a little bit. It was like nice, like, oh, you can lose all this weight on tirzepatide and so on, like just by doing resistance training, right? And walking too, but like you don't have to be out doing crazy aerobic. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't know if you can put any input to this question. How to ask a doctor to write up a pre-authorization when you're pre-diabetic, so insurance covers TERS. I don't know if you have any input to that. I don't necessarily have any input. Maybe someone in the chat does.
So my thing is like, yeah, I personally believe that once people are pre-diabetic, they should be allowed to go. Insurance is not going to do it. They literally wait for to cross the 6.5. And in fact, what I think they also do, but it was already in my record and she included it in the diagnostic codes, like I already had 2 glucose reads, which were over 100, fasting glucose, which apparently is supporting of the diagnosis. So it really comes down to the insurance company, whether or not they do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's right. So movement. So
wait, can I say something about that, by the way?
Please.
Also, I want to warn people sometimes when you're pre-diabetic, I get the urge to say like, oh, hey, I'll just get compound tirzepatide. Think about your number a little bit and just think like maybe I should wait 3 months or 5 months to get my A1C done again, because the minute you cross that 6.5, you get treated completely different. Like they roll out the red carpet. They want to make sure that there's no hospitalizations down the road. They just don't care when you're like 6.3 though. They just don't care.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
So, in your experience with movement, it's hard. It's hard to do movement. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you like to do now, which you voiced to me in a text a while ago, or what you're looking into doing it. But talk about like how you did move at first and how that's okay necessarily, and what your thoughts are now with what Jamie was saying to you and so on.
Okay, yeah. So in the fall, like that, gaining that like 100, a little over 100 pounds or whatever in a year, it sort of was debilitating, and again, just like putting it completely out of my head. So by the time I get to like the winter leading up to January 3rd, like I would be like out of breath all the time, like going up the steps. I'd have to take breaks, like like come walk like real far, like when I was commuting and had to walk a few blocks through the city to my office building from the so I already knew that there was like problems, and it was kind of unsettling, right? It was like, oh, this like what like can I get out of this and everything. When I worked with Jamie Selzer for coaching, like he's very methodical. It's like add one thing at a time, and that's what I kind of did. I just started out like doing compound movements with like 15-pound dumbbells, and he was like, just worry about doing the movement. We're not bodybuilding yet. We're not doing that. We're just getting consistent. Pay attention to form. Get yourself moving again, and that and the tirzepatide, the inflammation was gone within a couple weeks. So then I was able to start working out. Once I got to the LP little a though, I then became nervous that is the shortness of breath something else?
Right.
Was it something else, right? So then I got really nervous. So I waited and I couldn't, I had to do all the tests over a couple weeks, and I couldn't get in to see the cardiologist for a while. And then he sent me for the stress test, and then I cleared the stress test and was like, okay, I can get back to this. So I had like a big pause there.
Right.
But during that pause, I was still like trying, like walking more and so on. So I was doing something.
Yeah.
And at this point, like when I was younger and lived in New York, I lucked out several times in New York, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and it for various reasons the price of the apartment was not as high. It wasn't market price. So the second room was like my office and a gym. So when I used to work out when I was younger, I would have headphones on, and I would like do a set and then like dance for a little bit, and then do a set and like dance around for a little bit, because I was in like nightclubs and this and that. So I was like, yeah, I want to get back to that. Strangely, when I would think about doing that in January, it was too much to put on like old house music, because it was like I can't move my body like I used to be able to, and it was making that very clear. Like I was being very, and I was like, oh, this is sad. Like I don't want to hear this music. Like I don't, because it's reminding me of like when I was like
Right.
svelte and limber. But increasing over time, as like now I'm almost like approaching 100 off. It's like no, I want to like dance more. I want to. There's no nightclubs around here really to go to, but I want
Love
to,
that.
yeah.
But that's the point. Doing something that you enjoy, guys, right? Doing something that's fun and enjoyable, like dancing. I mean, how wonderful is that?
Yeah, and the reading I've been doing lately, like a lot of stuff, like I just went through this whole book by Kelly McGonigal about the joy of movement, and there's all this research that shows like when you have music, it does certain things to your body, and then when you combine that with exercise, it does even better things for your body, and it improves the exercise itself. It's like all these things are compounding, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You want any highlights that you want to bring up from that book? I think it's cool. You don't have to, but if someone's like worried about movement or just, I don't know, just stressful, stressing about it.
One of her concerns through the book is always like she's doing a comparison with she'll do a comparison with like how anxiety and depression are treated,
Hmm.
and then she'll look at experiments that are done with people engaged in movement. So like what exercise does to certain parts of the brain, it's like does similar stuff that anti-anxiety and antidepressive medication do. Um, sh- so she's saying it's a form of treatment. She said she's not saying it should replace those forms of treatment. But then like she has a whole chapter on like green exercise, being out inside. Like once you're outside, like you're disconnected from screens, you're disconnected, like you're just paying attention. You have a realization, I'm a small part in a really big world. I'm like you have a sense of wonder, sense of beauty, and so on. You get to hear birds, and like you're like, oh, and you take these like long walks or hikes, or depending how rugged you want to get or capable at the time. So like the green exercise stuff, yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff about like her underlying theme is like, this isn't exercise to like punish you or like, oh, I'm going to burn off a certain amount of calories. It's like, no, this is like, we're going to embrace life and movement,
Yeah,
and it's going to be enjoyable.
absolutely. Can you say the name of the book again, please?
The name of the book is The Joy of Movement by Kelly McGonigal. It's on my page actually. It's like a pink cover.
Yeah.
She's a trainer of trainers through the National Academy of Sports Medicine,
Yeah.
and she's a professor, I believe, at Stanford.
Yeah.
If the West Coast had a Harvard, it would be Stanford.
Right.
If Just kidding.
I love it. So what is like one moment in life in the last 7 months that you'll like never forget? Is there any moment that just stands out to you that just was besides the blood work? Anything stands out to you that's been pivotal?
Well, the conversation with the cardiologist was like really kind of big because it was like it really was. It was like on the one hand, it was like, here's your reality, here's a nice slap in the face, but it was also like, oh, and here's the 6 paths to like make it all better,
Mm.
right? So that was kind of like the big pivot. But other than that, I think it's just been a slow accumulation, and I think I really like it wasn't it didn't feel like it at the time, but like and not to like, praise him too much, but the opportunity to do 6, 7, 8 weeks with Jamie Selzler and like
Mhm.
with his hard won wisdom
Yeah.
and to pick that up and to also get the sense from him like don't do everything all at once, right?
How important. Yeah.
And he's like just step by step, like you don't need a whole new beginning, it's like you just need the next step, just keep making steps, keep taking the next step.
I mean, ultimately, that's what stops us most of the time is ourselves and just pushing too hard and thinking we need to do all sorts of things at first, right away.
Right. And Rebecca says the highlight is meeting all of us tell the truth, Éamonn. And there's truth to that though, Rebecca, too. Like I do think like I can talk with my best friend about what's going on with me, and he'll ask a million questions to try to understand it. He'll do his best and all. But it's a little bit different. Like if I'm like chatting with someone from quote unquote the community, where it's like, no, people have an understanding of what the experience is like. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, what is one thing that you're excited to do? Maybe that you feel wasn't possible before? Like, is there anything that you're looking forward to doing, like that you know you can possibly do now?
well, yeah. The last time I was in Ireland, I was on the Aran Islands, the biggest, the big island, Inishmore,
Hmm.
and I was able to go to Donangasa, which has a little bit of tourist infrastructure. It's got like a house at the bottom, and it still takes a time to get up there. They didn't pave it or anything. Ireland prefers to leave a lot of their sites just as is, but there is like a structured path. You do have to walk on rocks and stuff. So I did that. That was fine. But there's another fort on the island called the Black Fort, and the reason there's no tourist infrastructure is it's surrounded by rows and rows of black rocks that are all sharp on the top, so people can't approach that fort easily.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to get there. You have to like, there's no direct road. But I tried to go, and I got as close enough to see it, but I was out of
Mhm.
time because I had to get the ferry, so I knew I had to get back down to the harbor. So my thing is like, I want to go to that black fort. And I really want to go to the Black Fort because when I was standing there just looking at it, like, okay, you're not going to make it in time. Like, like you're not like able to like do like heavy, hardcore hiking here and stuff. I got shit on by a seagull. Yeah. While that was going through my head, I was like, oh, this just sucks. This is awful. So I kind of want to return and go to the Black Fort because the Black
And you
Fort.
want to poop on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. So, yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to, and then I'm also looking forward to like Ireland doesn't have like huge mountains, but there are a few little mountains that people will hike up. So I'm thinking about doing like one of those. So that's like the kind of goal.
Ah, I love that, Mush. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I know it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and I'm such a city person. That's the weird part
It,
where I'm like,
you know
why am I
what though?
excited about walking
Mush,
up a hill?
I've been a city girl too, but there's something about when we're able to move our body and see that beauty like that, all of a sudden we can use our body for like, we may not be as city as we think we are. For real.
Well, but if there was a helicopter that could just take me up and drop me off, I would do it.
And then go back to happy hour. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So like, is there something that's you've learned about yourself, like that's like been this moment of like, wow, I am this person or I am not this person? Anything that you've learned about yourself that was like mind blowing in these last 7 months?
Well, this is the other thing, right? So I want to separate out. I think sometimes people use the word and broadly. There's mindset stuff, right? And
Hmm.
the mindset stuff. is very important. Like, the big thing that Jamie Selzer talks about is like keeping their promises to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? That people, when they express love for somebody else, they make very public announcements and promises, or even vows, right? And that we should do the same with ourselves, right? So out of that though, like moving from that mindset issue is that there's like a mental health component to it too. So for me, it's been this kind of like slow, and I don't care about the pace of it because like I'm engaging it. I'm not just reading the material to know it, but I'm trying to actually work on it. But it's like the self-compassion kind of stuff,
Right.
where it's like you really kind of treat yourself as your best friend, or like you even try to like fall in love with yourself, not in terms of like being a narcissist or anything,
Right.
but it's like, no, I have to take care of me. Like, and there's nothing wrong with taking care of me. Like, that's in order to take care of anybody else, you're going to have to take care of yourself, right? You have to be in the best possible position. So the self-compassion stuff, there's an excellent book by Kristen Neff. She kind of popularized the concept and it really sort of took off. She opposes it to the notion of self-esteem, but it's like more about like mindfulness and so on. So like that's kind of become something I'm working on, because when I started terzepatide, my first week, I don't have GI side effects. I have nervous system side effects. I'm in the small, like 5% of people. So sometimes night 2 or 3 after my shot, when the sun goes down, I can start getting anxious.
Mm-hmm.
It's dissipated over time. It's like not a problem anymore. But in the beginning, it was a little scary the first couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah, I remember
Which
that.
forced me to come seek you people out.
Yeah, and now you're even more anxious. I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's the community is so helpful for sure. So for this next chapter, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to? I know you talked about Ireland and all these other things you want to do, but like, what do you feel in yourself? What are you looking forward to?
I don't, I don't have like a long term thing yet because,
Mhm.
like I said, like okay, tackle the glucose thing. Still working on the insulin. That's coming down, coming down. Okay, fine. The lipid stuff is in order now. I think like probably the next 2 months, 3 months, maybe it's going to be about like endothelial, arterial health, getting inflammation down.
Mhm.
That the other thing about the inflammation is like a lot of it seems to be nutrition, like an anti-inflammatory diet,
Yeah.
which strangely, this is something else I want to share with people. Every time I go into ChatGPT or Claude, I'm like, hey, give me the best diet for glucose issues. Give me the best diet for insulin resistance. Give me the best diet for. They all end up being the same diet.
Which is?
It's all like leafy greens, lean proteins, some beans, legumes. Get some nuts. Don't overdo the nuts because they're high caloric. Get your healthy fats in. It's the same thing every time. And then like you're less, fruits that don't have as much fructose, right? Like use those as treats or dessert, but stick to like berries and apples with pectin and stuff, things that have fiber and all. It's like literally the same. And then it's also the same diet for eye health, like to avoid macular degeneration and stuff like. It's the same thing. It's very weird to. Yeah.
So if in your expertise, in your experience, Éamonn, if someone is feeling discouraged right now, what would you tell them?
Well, I was one of the people that like a year before, but for vanity's sake, for like before I gained like the extra 100 pounds, I had already said like, oh, I went to Hims online and I got like whatever, Wegovy or Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
But then I listened to all sorts of people in the media, like media stories, all the sensationalist, all nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And even some of my neighbors and stuff. One of my neighbors was a pharmacist and all. She's like, oh my God, you go blind. Oh my God. And a farm tech. She's not like an actual pharmacist, right? So, it went bad. I left it in the refrigerator so long that it went bad.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got the terzepatide, I was literally like, I had spent just a couple of days like, how do I poke myself? Oh, give yourself a needle. This is weird. This is weird. And then the second I did, I was like, you were worried about this.
Right.
That's what you were worried about. So yeah, it's just, it's just do it. Like literally just get started. And the other thing too is like when you get started, I'm going to tell you, I had a really, really bad first week. My first week was so bad that I did 1.25 for the following 2 weeks because I was so scared. If I was on the pen, I'm not sure I would have continued on the pen. I may have discontinued. I may have been like, I'm not doing it again. But the being able to go to 1.25 on compound was like sort of nice for me. But yeah, I would say just do it and expect, like plan for it. Expect you're going to have some side effects and you don't know which ones are going to be. But then know that also that those side effects are avoidable by like eating a little bit when you feel nauseous because it's counterintuitive. But that's making sure you have some what's it called? I forget the anti-nausea medication.
Oh yeah, Zofran.
Yeah, Zofran. Like your doctor will totally, if you're starting, like you just get some Zofran, have that on order, and then maybe a little melatonin if you're like me and you get a little anxious after the sun goes down. A little melatonin to go to sleep. Magnesium glycinate will chill you out during the night too. Yeah, so like you just kind of prepare for it. Like just know like, oh, I actually just imagine you're going to have side effects and you're going to get over them over the first couple weeks. Yeah, everybody comes out from past the side effects.
Yeah, there are millions of people on this medication, guys.
Yeah.
Millions. Yeah. So any thoughts about community here on TikTok? Anything you want to share about the pros and cons, let's say? Dun dun dun. Just kidding. The good things about the community here, Mush. Anything you want to highlight?
I think that there's people in here for everybody that are it's going to be really helpful. I just happened to I was watching Jamie Selzler, and that's where I met you in the comments. You were giving him a hard time in the comments, and then through you I met Heather and Rebecca, and then people in the afternoon, and then I met the guys after that, and then the doctors after that. So one piece at a time. It's like then I kind of built out my following list on TikTok with some great people to see regularly, and doing little tricks like I don't know, like Micronutrition gave me a list of doctors to follow. Well, then I go and look at who they follow, right? Because they're the doctors. I'm going to trust those people then too. So yeah, you just kind of like build like an information network, and yeah, everything's not always so serious, and doesn't have to be all that it's always serious and stuff, right? Some of the times it's just like sharing a couple laughs with people who are on the similar kind of journey as you, not the same journey, but a similar one, and that's really helpful.
I love that. So for those that are just coming in, we'll wrap it up, but tell us again what you're on, how much you've lost, that kind of thing.
I am on Manjaro. I've lost like 97.5 pounds since January 3rd. I'm a super responder. Please don't compare yourself to me. And I'm sorry if you're slower. Sorry. But I have an LP little a of 576. So like
that's right. Don't you forget it.
Give me the super responder. So yeah, and it's been good so far. Like 6 months.
Anything you want to share that we haven't covered? Anything you want to give some insight in? Say.
No, not at the moment. Can't think of anything in particular. I just one thing that I'm working on. Just real quick. I think is important. I'm really bad at it. That's why I wanna highlight it. It's something that I'm working on now. Like when I did coaching with Jamie Selzler, he had the whole thing about keeping promises to yourself. He had the whole thing about like don't do motivation. You just want to get into discipline, consistency. You just want to have these like habits and build your habits, right? And then he had the whole thing about setting input goals, not output goals. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't have a long-term thing. I'm just looking at inputs over the next weeks or maybe 2-3 months, right? And I'm going to see what happens, what comes out of that. But I'm not really good at celebrating every win. And I don't know if that's like a cultural thing for me where you're not supposed to get notions about yourself. You shouldn't get too high on your own supply and that kind of thing. But I do think it's important, and that's something I'm trying to do now because it is weird. So I've lost almost 100 pounds, but I'm like, no, I'm still in a bigger body. Like, so it's weird to then look at the app and go, you've lost almost 100 pounds. Like, it's important to take stock of those things. And I'm not sure everybody does it.
I know.
or does it well. I
We're,
don't do it. And
we're
don't
hard on
do it
ourselves, and we need to make sure that we've got everything checked off before we celebrate. And that's
well.
just our human nature. And then some of it's personality and your own. I mean, because most you're like that. You're like that, where it's harder for you to celebrate how much you've come. But God, almost 100 pounds much. Truly, I hope you are
That's
super
crazy.
giddy about that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so
It's
crazy.
insane. In 7 months, much.
My brother was like, "Oh, hey, maybe we'll come this summer. Unless you don't want us to see you while you're real big." I'm like, "Well, you better get here soon then. Like, just come on."
You better come now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Oh, well,
Come at
thank you.
Christmas, and I'll look like I was in college again.
Ooh, with bubbles.
At this rate, well, who knows? It gets slow though. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I love it much. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for spending your day off with me.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for an often thankless job that you do, just offering up your time in the morning to make the space for people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do it because I want people to know that there's hope and there's people here that can get you. So that's why I do it. It's a passion of mine for sure.
Good job.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm gonna let you down in the chat.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All
Are
right,
you popping me or do I have to?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Bye.